So it sounds to me like they force you to have a special version of the calculator software that doesn't give you those abilities.
Oh, really?
Well, that's kind of what the impression I got. Your mom sent me an email today. I guess she had some communication with your teacher about it. And
I didn't know that.
the teacher said the same thing that I had concerns of, is that if they let you use the calculator with all these functions, that you just put it in the calculator, you wouldn't learn how to do any of it. So I started wondering about that. You got your calculator through the school system. So it's possible that all of the students are forced to have the version that doesn't have the factoring like mine does.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they keep people from just ordering one off Amazon. It's not like I paid a whole lot more for it than you did.
Yeah.
And you might still be able to upgrade your operating system.
Yeah, we did that last night.
Oh, you did?
Now my version is 3.2.3.1233.
That's the same as mine, isn't it? Have you checked to see whether or not you can do the factoring?
So what? How do you do yours on
Turn
your
it on.
calculator?
Turn it on. Hit scratch pad.
Yeah.
And now hit menu.
Yeah.
Now hit number 3 for algebra.
Yeah.
What are your choices?
They're still the same.
Okay. See, I have 9, 10 choices. My first choice is solve. My second choice is factor. My third choice is expand. My fourth choice is zeros. Fifth is complete the square. And then 8 is polynomial tools, which apparently is the only one you have. Your first one is solve or not?
My first one is numerical solve.
Numerical solve, which is number 6 on mine. What happens when we do that? Numerically solve. So this must be an equation. So if you hit that, numerically solve, and you put x equals, or x plus 4 equals 10. No, it doesn't like that. I wonder if it needs some of these you have to define the variable. In other words, you have to put comma x after the numerical solve, and that did work. In other words, in between the parentheses, put x plus 4 equals 10, comma x, and then enter.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like that'll solve any equation for you. Let's see if it'll do a higher one. Numerically solve, let's try x squared minus 1 equals 0, comma x, enter. It didn't give me the right solution for that. It gave me 1. And the right solution is plus or minus 1. Did you get that? Did you try that? Numerically solve x squared minus 1 equals 0, comma x.
X, what was it? X squared?
X squared minus, and you can do the x squared. If you hit the x from your keyboard and then go up and hit the x squared button, it squares it automatically.
Yeah.
And then do minus 1 equals 0, comma x. And then enter.
Yeah, mine gets positive 1.
What happened to the negative 1? Because you're going to get x squared equals 1, square root of both sides, plus or minus 1. That shocks me that they would get that. Okay, you said you mainly wanted to talk about calculator tonight. What kind of stuff? I might be able to help you. I might not. I've been playing around a lot with mine, so I've figured out a few things.
Just like different tools that you think I could use as an Algebra 2 student.
Well, let's do some graphing.
Okay.
Hit your scratch pad. Well, hold on. Let's do graphing in a document because I'm not sure how to clear stuff yet. So hit the top right button, which brings up your main page, and hit New Document, number 1.
All right, I got it.
And then number 2, Add Graphs. Should get a blank grid. And at the bottom it should say f of 1 of x.
Yep.
Go ahead and put in x squared. Enter.
All right, I got a parabola.
Okay, and then you could put in more functions if you wanted by hitting the tab button, and that will open up f of 2 of x, which if you wanted to, you could put in a different equation and it would graph both of them. In other words, it'll do the same thing as your TI-80. You never had a TI-84, did you?
No.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about what we can do with that graph. Are you used to using the center scroll thing?
Not really.
Well, I wasn't either. I didn't like it. What do they call it? The mouse thingy. But you can do a lot of you can do a lot of clever stuff with it. For instance, move your mouse pad up until it's sitting on the vertex of that parabola, and it should turn into a 4-arrowed thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and now, let's see, what can we do? If we hit that and drag down, shoot, how did I do this earlier? Maybe you got to hit Control. Oh boy. You can change that graph. If you go ahead and lock your mouse pointer onto the side of that graph where it turns into kind of a diagonal line with a perpendicular set of arrows next to it. And if you click, actually at this point is all you have to do is, in other words, you can widen it and you'll notice it changes the equation.
Yeah.
In other words, I just widened mine and now it says that this is 0.5 x squared. And if you want to leave it like that, click and move the mouse pad away, and now you'll have the 0.5 x squared plotted. You can do some other clever things. If you put the mouse pointer on the x-axis, yeah, put it on the y-axis. Put it on -2. Turns into an open hand. Oh, in fact, let me show you something else. I'm sorry. Put your mouse pointer on the label that the function says. f1 of x equals, I don't know if yours still says x squared. Mine says 0.5 x squared. But if you put the mouse pointer on that, turns into a hand. Got it?
Yeah.
Push the mouse pointer in until the hand closes.
Yeah.
Now move your mouse pointer, scroll down, and you can take that label and move it wherever you want. Hit enter.
Okay.
hit enter, so that's pretty useful. Now, if I, put the pointer on the lower half of the y-axis.
All right.
Push the thing until it turns into a closed hand. And now scroll up and it changes your scale.
Oh, yeah.
Scroll down and it widens the scale. And hit enter to get it back to a pointer. Alright, let's look at, hit menu.
Okay.
Number 4 rather, Windows Zoom.
Yeah.
And there you have your various methods for setting your scale. If you hit 1, Windows Settings, you'll be able to define the minimum X, the maximum X, the minimum Y, the maximum Y, and so forth.
Okay.
Okay, hit escape, that always gets rid of the last thing you did. Hit menu again. Hit 4. Hit zoom in, number 3. And it gives you something that says center. Hit enter. Yes, that's where I want my center. And notice that it zoomed in twice as much, changing your scales.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Oops, boy, if you move that pointer to a different location and hit center, it takes most of the parabola off the screen. So you kind of have to play with that center that looks like a head of a Phillips screw.
Yeah.
Okay, and then if you want to get rid of that, let's see, to get rid of the center, I guess you just click enter. No? Hit escape there. Hit escape changes it back to a pointer.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm zoomed way too far in. I can barely see any curvature on the vertex, so let me zoom out. Oops. Center again. Yeah. And then you can hit enter over and over again, and it'll keep zooming out. And then if you want to turn it back into a pointer, move it off. Now, let's see. Hit escape. Escape moves it to the pointer again. All right, let's see what other good things can we do here. If we hit menu,
if you go down to geometry, you can draw shapes.
Yeah, you can do that. Let's hit menu. Let's see, what am I looking for? I'm looking for Analyze Graph, number 6. Hit menu 6, and we're going to find the minimum of this parabola, number 2.
Okay.
Notice that it comes up and it asks you lower bound and draws a vertical line on your screen. If it's to the left of the vertex, hit enter.
Okay.
Scroll using your scroll pad to the right of the vertex. That's the upper bound. Hit enter.
Okay.
Notice it gives you the minimum right there at the vertex.
Yeah.
And it gives you the coordinates of that. Mine says 0, 0. And say that 0, 0 is in the way of your label of the function. You can move your label out of the way, and you can also move that 0, 0. If you put the scroll thing over the 0, 0, you'll notice it says text. Turns into a hand. Push the pointer until it closes, and now you can scroll and move that XY label coordinate to wherever you want, hit enter, and now you have a more workable screen with your labels in the proper places that you want them.
Okay.
If you have a cubic function where you want to find a local minimum or a local maximum, you can do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? If we, let me think here. How do we change this function? Let's edit. Let's put menu 3.
Okay.
Function. Now this gives me a second option for a function. I haven't figured out how to get rid of, how to clear out the first function yet.
Go up to actions, number 1, and go down to delete all.
Yeah, I've done that. I didn't want to do that, but okay. That's a. If you don't want to delete all, there must be a way to just delete the one function. Okay, I did that. Now hit Tab. That opens up the bottom line for a new function. And let's put a cubic in there. Let's do x raised to the third. Notice how it does it. It shows it as an exponent. So now if you want to add a second term, you actually have to hit to the right before you hit minus 2x squared plus 4x plus 2. Let's graph that. It's not what I wanted. I wanted something that had 2 humps in it. So let's see, if I go menu, action, delete all. Okay, so I got rid of that one. Hit tab again. X raised to the third power to the right minus 1. Wonder if I can grab part of this graph. Move your cursor over to the graph so it turns into a vertical hand, and it says graph, F1. Click it, hold it in, and let's see, if you click and move, I think Control, click, maybe? You move that graph around. Control, move, no. Obviously I'm not a big expert on this thing either. I'm still experimenting myself. Alright, well, let's see, what else can we do here? Let's go back to the scratch pad. Interesting.
Okay.
When you went back to your scratch pad, did you get a graph or the scratch pad that has calculations on it?
When I hit scratch pad?
Yeah. In other words, the scratch pad will actually toggle between the graph and the scratch pad.
Yeah, it gives me the option to do either one.
You're in the scratch pad with either, but in this mode you can do things like factor numbers and stuff like that. Let's see, if we hit menu, what other good stuff can we do here? Algebra. Hit escape. Let me show you how to do linear regression, because that's probably something you have to do. Hit the on button.
Okay.
and go down. You see the 7 symbols below the word settings? Yeah. Go down to the middle one. It says add lists and spreadsheet to a new document. Hit enter. Should have a blank spreadsheet.
Yep.
Go up to where it says A, the very top cell on the left.
Okay.
Hit X. Go to the cell on the right, which you have to tab to. Hit Y.
Okay.
Tab down to row number 1.
Okay.
And put, let's see, what happens if I hit 1, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, 4, enter. Now go up under the Y column, row number 1, and let's hit 1, enter, 4, enter, 9, enter, 16, enter. So column number 1 says 1, 2, 3, 4. Column number Y says 1, 4, 9, 16. Now put your cursor in an empty cell, not under either of those X and Y. Get it into column C somewhere.
Okay.
And hit menu number 4.
Okay.
It's either stat tests or stat calc. Let's see. Yeah, stat calc. Okay. Number 1. And notice where it says linear regression. Hit number 3. You get a strange table that comes up, says linear regression and mx plus b, and your cursor is left on the X list. Well, if you hit the center, what is that thing called?
Touchpad?
Yeah, the center button on the touchpad. It'll bring up 2 options, X and Y. Click down, choose the X, hit enter.
Alright.
Go down to the tab down to the Y list. Hit the center of the touchpad again. It'll give you 2 choices. This time choose Y.
Okay.
Now tab down to the OK button.
Okay.
Hit enter.
Alright.
You should see your linear regression in column E.
Yeah, did you get for M5 and B -5?
I did. And it also, do you know what the meaning of the R is?
How linear the line is. The closer it is to 1 or -1, the better, I believe.
Better fit. It's called the best fit. Yeah. In other words, here, if you look on my screen for a moment, if I had a set of points like this, and I drew a line through those, that might have an R of 0.9, but if I had a set of points like this, with a wider spread in them, and I draw a straight line through that, that's going to have a smaller R. That might have an R of 0.8. Because the distance, the average distance from each point to that line is greater. In fact, the way they do linear regressions is they square this distance, add up all the squares of these distance, and whichever line produces the smallest result, that's the line of best fit for linear regression. And they give you R squared and R.
Okay.
I don't know what residual means. terms of linear regression. But linear regression is something that you probably have to do in honors algebra. I don't know if you've had to do it yet.
Yeah, we've had a couple problems where we've had to do it.
Okay. And now let's see if we can graph this. If we pull up, let's see, you don't pull up menu. If I watched a video on this. Hit control page, the page, or hit control dock.
Yeah.
Add a graph to, now what? I have no idea what to do here.
Add a graph to it, and then I believe you have to go back to the spreadsheet.
Oh, you can scroll, use your scroll pad to go up. See, I now have different pages on my document. I have a 1.1, a 1.2, and I'm in a 1.3. When I hit Control plus page, I added a page to this document. But if I go back up and I hit 1.2, should get me back to the spreadsheet. It does. Now, I would think we'd be able to graph from this. If I hit Menu, Actions, no. Statistics.
I just hit something, and now I'm in some graph, and I don't know how to get out of it.
I've had that happen also. Sometimes the only way to get out of it is Control Off. Let's see what actions do. Move column, resize, select, go to, no graph. How did this guy do it? Let's see, if I go back to my graph, and hit menu, three, scatter plot maybe? No. Ah, yeah. I hit menu, scatter plot, and then I get this thing at the bottom, and you have to put an X, and tab down and hit a Y, and hit enter. Good, I just graphed my points.
Okay.
So that's how you graph the spreadsheet. All right. I have an 8 o'clock online, so I'm going to have to run, but hopefully we both learned a little something about this calculator tonight.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right.
I will talk to you on Saturday, and if you feel a need for an in-person session, that's a good one to do. Saturday at noon, merely because I don't have anything around it.
Okay.
But online is obviously okay also. So unless I hear from you further, I'll plan on an online session at noon this Saturday.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
All right, Jackson. Talk to you Saturday.